Purple Cinderella. Hi, Miss Lillie. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. And how about you yourself?
Right, well, thank you for asking.
That's good.
Miss Lillie is here today to tell us a little bit about the Purple Cinderella. What is the Purple Cinderella?
The Purple Cinderella is me, and it's my life story. And the reason that I named it a Purple Cinderella is because purple is my favorite color. And my childhood was somewhat like Celie in the color purple.
Okay.
You know how Celie had Mr.? Well, all through my young life, I had several misters. And also, the reason why I say Cinderella is because my sister and I were slaves to my step family. We were slaves in so many ways. The cooking, the cleaning, even made to lay on our backs. So that's why I named it the Purple Cinderella.
And how did things like that affect you as a child? What age did the abuse start?
The abuse started with me 3 going on 4.
Okay,
That's
so
when they
there you
moved
go.
in, and it was like immediately once they moved in, it actually started.
And how do you think it affected you? Like, especially at the younger age when you were a child, first experiencing, I guess, the abuse and molestation. What was that like? Do you remember?
It affected me in so many ways because as a child, I didn't know how, and I didn't understand what was going on. And as a child, you think it's supposed to happen. If something keeps happening to you,
True.
you start believing that that's supposed to happen to you. And that's what happened to me. I thought this,
So the abuse became your reality.
Yeah, it was my
my
reality.
life.
It was something I thought was supposed to happen. It was an everyday thing. It's something that happened every day.
Now,
all
was
the time.
your stepfamily, your stepmother in particular, was she aware of the abuse that was, you were going through at the hands of her relatives, her sons, uncles, brothers?
I would say she was aware, and there's a reason why I would say that because I remember when I was young, 6, and my sister was probably 8. She took us to the health department to get on birth control pills.
Wow.
So she knew.
Wow. Yeah.
She knew.
What
And
about
one of
your
her
father?
relatives I spoke with just about a month or 2 ago.
Okay.
She told me that she knew too.
Well, now,
One of her relatives.
what is that like, speaking to a relative who was aware of the situation then,
Mhm.
and now that you moved past the situation and are growing from it? What was that like, speaking to somebody who knew you were going
It
through
wasn't
that?
so bad speaking with this person because this person always been genuine. They always have had a good heart, so it wasn't bad speaking with the person. It was actually enlightening, and it helped me open up a lot more in my mind that I put away. So it helped me a lot, to be honest.
And how about your father? Was he aware?
My
what you and your sister
father-
were going through?
No, my father was not aware. The thing was, when they came into our life, my father worked all the time. He worked for the city in my hometown. So he worked all the time. And then when he get home, he would be tired. And then he ended up going blind. My father went blind. So once he went blind, it made it more easier for them to do whatever they wanted to do to me.
What about like school? Because you were young when it happened. Your school age, your relationships with kids, teachers, counselors. How was that affected?
It affected me very badly, and I would say how and why. Because when I would go to school, I would go to school angry. I know that sounds crazy, and because what was happening to me, God was letting me know something wasn't right when I was young because I would act out. I would go to school, I would fight every day, I would get suspended. As soon as I would get off the bus, I would want to start a fight.
So you would have been probably pegged labeled a bad kid.
I was labeled a bad kid, and one of the principals
Correct.
at my elementary school, she labeled me the bad kid. She didn't like me, and because I didn't really know better, I should have known better because my father made us go to church all the time, even though it was hell in the home.
Right.
But even like, for instance, the principal whooped me, I hit her back. That's abnormal. Kids shouldn't do that. But I was only acting out from what was going on at home.
Absolutely, absolutely. How about like grades? Were you a good
My
student
grades,
as far
to
as,
be
like,
honest, my grades was good. That's the craziest thing. I had good grades, and I
You like
was
to
bad.
learn, and you like that, and you just were lashing out.
And I didn't know how to react to what was going on. If you having sex and people doing all kind of things to you, touching you in places, putting things in places where it shouldn't be, something inside to tell you this is not supposed to be happening, but you don't know how to deal with it. You don't know how to respond.
Right. You have been shown the reaction that I'm supposed to have to what I'm being subjected to.
Yes.
Now, how do you feel that like knowing God, your relationship with God, helped?
The relationship with God is so important to me. That's the most important thing, the most number one thing that's important to me. God is before my child and before me. If I did not know God, I had something that happened at 38 years old. It was a pivotal moment for me. And some people don't understand when I say it's a pivotal moment for me. But if I did not know God at 38 when I was thinking about committing suicide, I wouldn't be here sitting in this chair.
Brought up 38. I know you have said that at 38 you got your slipper back. Can you elaborate on that? Like, what does that mean?
What I mean by that, at the age of 30, I got my glass slipper back. And what I mean by that is I got my life back. But I got my life back through prayer, through Christ. And it's important for people, whatever the devil has taken from you or people have taken from you, you get all of that back. Even you get back tenfold. Get your glass slipper back. Don't let them steal your joy. Don't let people take your happiness. Your happiness is your glass slipper. Because once you lose happiness, it can take you to a bad place and you will think about doing the worst things. People may disagree with me. A lot of people, when they go through stuff, either they're going to think about committing suicide, or they're going to think about hurting someone, or they're going to think about doing drugs. Or you can be wise and fall to your knees and pray and get your glass slipper back. I chose to fall to my knees and pray and get my glass slipper back. But everyone don't know God to know to do that. Everyone does not know to pray.
And how significant was prayer to help you get through the situation and move on to that place where you can be encouraged and be helpful and live your life, not blaming yourself for feeling, a certain kind of way?
Prayer, it was very serious to me because if I didn't have it, like I stated, I wouldn't be in this chair. Prayer gets me through every day of life. I'm going to tell you something. I go all day long praying. It may sound crazy. I can be talking to someone and I'm praying the whole time. I be in my car, I'm praying. I'm working on something for the purpose of Cinderella, I'm praying. I pray all day long because if I don't pray, I feel like I may one day lose it and I don't want to lose it. And because prayer keeps me balanced.
Okay. Do you feel like your situation and the experiences in your story that you went through, has that encouraged you to help other people and inform, young girls about, that it's not okay. This does happen. How has it encouraged you to help others?
It has encouraged me in so many ways. It has encouraged me where I want to do more charitable things to help people. I like to listen to people because I get messages all the time from people. And people call me and they'll tell me, I didn't know this happened, but this happened to me. I have had men to inbox me and tell me that it has happened to them. And some of their stories, I thought my story was bad. Their story, oh God, I'm going to tell you, one night I wrote on a piece of paper to God. I was like, God, I want to help people, but it's getting a little bit too heavy for me. I found myself crying, but God said, you got to keep going. You can't give up on these people. Now they opening up to you. You got to keep listening to them. And that is my goal. I'm going to keep listening to them. Because awesome. Listening is the first thing people need to do. And what I learned in the Black culture, we sweep everything under the rug. We don't listen to people. It's
not anyone else's business. It's our business. It's not their business.
And when you do that, you're destroying a person. Because I went 30 years with all that packed inside of me, and I never cried. Even through my childhood, I never cried. I would get a whooping, I never cried. I wouldn't cry. I would feel like crying, I couldn't cry. Because I trained myself to accept pain and not to cry. Even when I would go through financial stuff, raising my daughter by myself, I couldn't cry. I wanted to cry, but I would tell myself, you're too strong. You can't cry. Weak people cry. You're not weak. You can't cry. You know what I mean? So I would never cry. But that pivotal moment, 38 on my knees, I cried like I never cried before. Honestly, I cried for a couple of days. I was just fine. But I needed to do that.
Felt better after.
Yes, it was years of not crying, years of just accepting pain and accepting pain and telling yourself it's okay. It's not okay. Cry. I advise people to cry.
And you spoke about charities. What is there particular organizations you like to work with? What kind of charity work do you do?
I have helped with Atlanta Day Shelter for Women and Children. I help with Higher Family Achievement, which is Nancy Cosmo. She does a lot of great things. She's doing big things. She has something that she's doing this month on the 27th. And also I'm helping with the event here at G&B. That's on the 31st. They, donating a big thing to a charity. So I love doing charity work, and I want to do more charity work.
Awesome. What would you tell people, a young girl who's going through something similar to you? What can you tell the abuse victim to help them, not commit suicide? That strength, that encouragement to hold on. This too shall pass.
First, like I would say, they have to think about God, which I know a lot of people, their parents or someone have not taught them that. But the little bit that apply. I tell people. I know they have heard of God. I don't care what God it is.
Right.
Think about God, and then take all that and apply it and think about how much you need to live and pray. And when you pray like you never prayed before, because that night when I was 38 years old, I prayed, and I never prayed like that before. I didn't know I could pray like that. I knew to pray because I've been praying all my life, but I didn't know I could pray like that.
It's a difference in going through the motions than you actually being changed.
It's a cry and a prayer that comes so from your foot all the way up through your body, it just come out. And you can't help but to cry, because once you cry, you're achieving something. You're getting all that monster, all those demons all that's within you.
I like that.
All
so
of it
get those
out.
demons out.
Yeah.
Finding those demons
Because
out.
I went many years and I learned about stuff like that from going to church with my father, and I would go to church on my own all those years. But in that night, I learned so much about myself. I learned that I had a whole bunch of demons in me that I didn't know I had in me. A lot of people don't want to hear that. They be like, oh, but I'm just being honest. We all can have demons. I'm still in the work now. God is working with me now. And a lot of people don't like to admit that they have flaws. I am very flawed. God is working on me. Every day he's working on me. He released a lot of those demons. There's a lot more that he has to do with me. He's not done with me. Every day he's cleaning me up. That particular night, he cleansed me. But he's still every day working on me because your flesh, your mind goes places that it should not go. And people lie and say they don't. You're telling a lie.
Right.
Don't lie to yourself. That's the worst thing. That's what I learned to God. So I had to be honest with myself. Accept the lies I have told, get rid of them. Accept what people have said about me, get rid of it. It's just when you lie to yourself about things, you're not real. You just suspect it's a $3 bill.
Right.
You have to be honest with yourself.
How do you feel like your story can, how will your story encourage people? How do you hope that your story will affect and encourage and change people's lives?
I hope that my story would change so many people's lives, and it already has been. That I already say, like, I've been helping men that's going through this, women, children, and you, like I said, you'd be surprised how many men. It's a guy. He sent me a message. He's married, and it happened to him. A good friend of mine, him and I went to church together. He just told me 2 weeks ago that it happened to him when he was young. And he date women, but it's just you'd be surprised.
Well, I feel
how
like
you
for
can
men
help
too,
people.
like within the Black community you spoke about, we don't like to talk about things like the hush
They
hush.
don't.
I think as a man too, you're told, as a man, you're not allowed to feel this way. You're
That's
not,
right.
as a Black
not
woman,
allowed to
you're not
cry.
allowed to feel this way. You got to do this. And I think, when you find an outlet to release it to, I think it's awesome what you're doing. And
I'm not saying I'm their savior because God is the savior.
Absolutely.
But they look at me, they're like, I can't see this happening to you. You don't look like your story. So they look at me and I tell them this is happening to me. They are talking about it now. Because I'm writing a book myself, which is coming out November 1st. It's people tell me they're going to write a book about what they do. I'm glad to be able to help people bring it out. Because if you keep stuff in, it destroys you, it tears you apart, and there's no more you. There's just no more you. You're a whole different person. Like I wore bandages for many years. Every time I felt like I wanted to cry, I felt the pain, I put a bandage on. What I mean by that, I will buy myself something. I will have somebody buy me something. Or like, for example, my name is Lillie Young. But I let people tell me when I started doing fashion that the name was country. So they told me your name going to be L. So I bought into that. That's another layer of bandages because you deny yourself. There was no more Lillie. Even when I was a child, they called me Pretty Mama. They never called me Lillie when I was a child. So you're already telling me you can't be who you are.
Not who you are.
Yeah. But in that particular moment, 38 years old, L didn't exist no more. I am Lillie Young. I want to introduce myself.
Lillie Young, it's a pleasure to meet you.
And I'm glad to be here.
So tell us what you have going on today with the Purple Cinderella.
The Purple Cinderella, we've been filming a lot. I just filmed with some of the most beautiful, loving kids. Their parents were just wonderful. The best kids I've worked with in my life, and I'm not just saying that. The energy was
something too.
Yes, the energy was perfect. The mothers was perfect. The daddies that came were perfect. And I'm also I've been doing radio. I'm doing magazines. Like I also have 2 of the magazines here with me now.
So absolutely, let's take a look at those.
Hand me the other one too. And this particular magazine company, they have promoted me more than anyone. I have done several magazines, but this particular one, they have showed me so much love. They have showed me so much love. And this is Next Up magazine. This is the first article that they did for me on the Purple Cinderella. And my story is to help people. I don't mind putting myself out there and people judge me, that's fine. But my story is to help others that have been abused, different forms of abuse. I experienced different forms of abuse, not just sexual abuse, but also physical, mental, emotional, any kind of abuse it was, I experienced it when I was young. I was told I wasn't going to be nothing by my stepmother, but I didn't let that choose how my life would go. I didn't have parents. I raised a daughter by myself. I paid my way through college. There were plenty of stumbling blocks, which I'm going to tell all that in the book because I don't want to give all the juice away. No. But there was plenty of stumbling blocks. It wasn't perfect getting there. I did a lot of things in life that God wouldn't be proud of. But even though I did things, I didn't do things to try to hurt people. Right. I was in survival mode. I didn't have parents. So I had to do the best that I could do. I didn't have anyone. I did the best that I could do.
That's all you can do. Lillie, this has been awesome and amazing. Your story is wonderful and powerful. You're so brave to do this, and I know you'll be encouraging and helping people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.